Hello everyone and welcome back to Accent on Gamers. Today I have Mario here with me to discuss our summer backlog challenge. Something I've been seeing a lot of other people do on YouTube recently. Leo the Funny Nerd was the first one I saw in my feed at least, and then Majority also did his video. So figured I should do my own, and while I don't play as much as I used to, maybe together with Mario and showing both of our challenges, maybe we can make a longer video, I suppose, what I'm trying to say here.
Right.
So, welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's been a long time. We haven't done this together in a long while, but
Yeah.
like you said, I think it's actually pretty interesting because we don't play too much individually, but together we might be able to form a force to be reckoned with.
Yes. So I mentioned two other people. The first one picked fewer games, the other one picked more games, and this is so funny because you can pick a lot of like short games or a bunch of games you already started, or fewer games that are like super long that you have not started. So this challenge is like there's no rules really.
No.
So you can do whatever you want to. But my rules personally is like this is a backlog challenge, right? So I want to pick like older games, maybe games I already started, but for whatever reason did not finish.
Right.
This is the time for me to actually commit and finish those games because games are being released all the time, and as long as they do, which they will be doing forever,
Yeah, of course.
more or less, I feel that this is the opportunity for me to actually have a reason to prioritize those games over new games.
Right.
So I have 3 picks, and that's enough for me. I feel like maybe putting a limit there, I might still have an hour or two every now and then to put on releases. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Keep yourself active while still hacking away on the backlog.
yes.
Right, for me, I actually just feel like there's a lot of games that I really want to play, and I don't think there's any special conditions to why I chose these games. They're just the ones that have been on my mind for a long time, and there are some reasons why I wanted to pick one of these, and that's because I recently beat another game in the series, so I feel like
Right.
I should follow up on that
Yeah,
as fast as possible.
The same thing here actually. One of mine is a sequel for sure.
Right.
So
Now, without further ado, I guess we should just start with my side, maybe?
sure, let's get to it.
Right. So, I love reading visual novels, and one of the most common visual novels here in the West is the Ace Attorney series. There's a lot of entries in the series that haven't been released here in the West, but
Unfortunately.
yeah, definitely have had cool releases over in Japan. And last year, I actually was gifted one of these games, or 2 actually, from my friend Saga. And I figured I should be playing one of these during the summer, and it's Dai Yakten Saiban. This is actually Senkai's copy, but I didn't want to bring my limited edition over here. It's so far I've started playing this. Just like Senkai said, the conditions are a bit different. 2 of these games I already started, which is fair because we're a bit late to the party with this.
That's the thing too.
A month late, just about. So I figured it's fair anyways to just include these. I've been having really fun with this so far. I definitely think it holds up to the legacy of the Ace Attorney series. I've just done one case, but I figured, I mean, it's good progress anyway.
If the intro case in a Ace Attorney game is good, you know you're in for a treat.
Right. I've been very blown away by the amount of world building, characterization,
Right.
great animations and interactions between the characters.
It's their opportunity or like chance to really grab you.
Yeah.
And you can tell that some games use that case as more of a like tutorial, and they don't really charm you right away.
Yeah, definitely.
But I heard good things about this one, and that it kicks off right away.
I can definitely support that opinion because so far they've melded the tutorial parts with the story parts very well, much better than previous Ace Attorney games.
Very cool.
I feel like Ace Attorney 2 was probably like the most iffy example on how to present the first case.
Right.
But this is probably one of the better. So I've been having a lot of fun with this, and from what I can see on just the background here, I haven't looked at the case, but there seems to be a lot of more systems in the game that I haven't tried out yet. So it's going to be fun to see how that works.
Very cool. There was a crossover between Layton and Ace Attorney, and that game had a lot of like new mechanics that were not used in the main series that I think they evolve in this one, or like this sub-series of the games. So.
Definitely. It makes it way more attractive and hectic to play. Zoom in there.
A really, really nice cover, I have to say.
Fantastic art for sure. Yep.
Right, so my first game is one I have been talking about before on the channel, and it's a sequel to the game Zero no Kiseki that I talk about all the time on the channel for sure.
Amazing
the game is Ao no Kiseki, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Blue, it was called for many, many years back in the day. Now they are actually translating the game, and so it's called Trails to Azure. But while that translation is not out just yet, I'm gonna call this game Ao no Kiseki for a bit longer.
That's the official title.
That's the official name. I am playing a mixed translation. It's very, very interesting. The game is fully translated. However, only the good parts are translated. They're like edited, and they've like many times went over and really made it. Like they added some accents to some characters, and they really took their time to make it really good. But you have the complete opposite for the less important things in the game. So side quests and NPCs. Yeah. When you interact with like the shopkeepers, you have the option to talk, shop, or exit. If you press talk, you're in for like a laugh because they just say such nonsense stuff. They started the project by Google translating the entire game, and then they edited the important parts. So it's good. I'm halfway through the game, and I love it. The previous entry, Zero no Kiseki, was translated perfectly as far as like. Maybe some NPCs were not finished like this one, but the overall story was fantastic, and I loved the game so much that playing this game right away was kind of a priority over waiting. I have been waiting for a couple of months on a better translation, but this will do just fine. And when everybody was talking about this backlog challenge, and I'm thinking about games I've started but not finished, this is one I don't want to wait with any longer. And if I have a reason like this challenge to actually commit and go back and finish this, I'm definitely going to do so. So my first pick is The Legend of Heroes Ao no Kiseki.
I feel like it's a very good pick. It's a very long game in terms of just the amount of content you can read. So it's definitely understandable why they approached it. We should thank Google for halfway sponsoring the translation of this game, I suppose.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, big creds to the people who actually translate that game.
It's very cool. The other team that I've been waiting for a couple of months, they actually did translate the whole thing. So that's really impressive. But that's why it's taking so much time. So
definitely. But it's worth the wait. But in your case, it's worth the play.
Yeah. For sure.
As long as you have fun, and the actual story is what's very important in that game. Of course, it's very attractive to go around and talk to all the people and NPCs, but that's only if you're very, very invested.
That's definitely a good reason to replay the game in the future.
Exactly.
And there is another version of the game for the Vita with like full voice acting and stuff. So I was going to replay that version anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's fine.
Fair point. Right. My next pick, I suppose, going back a few generations, it's Xenogears, and a lot of JRPG enthusiasts know what Xenogears is, and hopefully a lot of new gamers know what the Xenogears is by now because of Xenoblade 2.
Right.
There's been so much praise to this game.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, I hear from Senkai every time. Like every time Senkai comes to my place, he looks in my shelf, and this sticks out. There's always gonna be a story about it, and a lot of praise along with it. I played Xenoblade on the 3DS very recently, and I loved it. There was a bit of a background story on my experience with Xenoblade. which I hope we can get into someday.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, Xenogears has been a top priority game for a long time, and recently Senkai, well, I'm not sure we should say traded, but I got a Vita Slim from Senkai, and I just felt like picking this along with me and playing it on my Vita would be an awesome thing.
That's a great idea.
Because I have it on the PSN version, but I do all. Cool. This is actually a gift from you too. So, so right, yeah. So double praise to Senkai for letting me play this. I love mecha and the theological parts they went into in Xenoblade, all the god talk and everything. I look forward to seeing the mecha and god combinations because that seems to be the theme of these games.
You know, with anime and games and everything, generations kind of like changes media over time, and while you can see like the change very clearly if you watch anime for example, the same thing goes for games. And Xenoblade, while it still has all the good parts from this game, it's like censor is the wrong word, but it's not as fleshed out in those like more deep and dark themes that Xenogears touches on, which makes it my favorite game on the PS1, and still to this day my second favorite JRPG ever.
Right.
So
we haven't really gotten into this game.
I'm really happy you're gonna play that.
Yeah. So this summer I really hope to get this into my body, like consume it, make it part of me.
Hopefully we can make a review and video on that game, like whole video just for Xenogears when you're done.
That would be
But I just want to briefly mention before we move on that you're gonna play the game in Japanese. So this is no news for you. But there is a version with Japanese audio for the few cutscenes that are in the game with subtitles, and they also like rearrange the buttons. Because in the North American release, you actually like jump with triangle and stuff. It's very odd. So if you would play the game on your Vita, like you're gonna do, people in like the US and Europe should probably download that version. I burned it on a disc and played it on my PS1. But if I were to play it on the Vita or download the game, I would download that version.
Would it make it really difficult to play with the American?
I just think that it's a long game. Yeah. And if you're gonna commit to those 80 hours or so, play the better version. Right. I mean, people really put their free spare time to make those improvements for the games.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's worth it. The version of the game is called Xenogears 2.0. So just Google that real quick and you can read more about it.
Cool, that's really nice. Yes. All right, so a bit of tips for the people who don't play it in Japanese then as well. Great, but yeah, so Xenogears, definitely one of the games I'll be playing this summer.
Fantastic game. And here's another fantastic game. It's one that I've also been talking about a whole lot about on this channel, and I see more people talk about it now. It's also, just before I show you the game, I want to say that we always talk about games that are relevant. Like some games, it goes a couple of months and you don't hear about it anymore. This game has been relevant ever since it came out.
Very much
back in the day on the Vita, and I'm gonna play the PS4 version, and the game is called Ys 8 Lacrimosa Odana. This is one of my favorite games, and it was my number 4 game of the year last year. I did beat the game on the Vita. I started it on the PS4, and the thing is, not just replaying it because I want to, and why it's still in my backlog. That the reason why it's still in my backlog, it's a game I already finished, right? But it's been retranslated. The entire game got a new translation, so I would still have it in my backlog because the one I finished was in Japanese. So replaying it in English, like as is, would still be a good reason for me to play this. But they actually went back and retranslated the whole game a second time in English to make it better. So I'm more curious than ever to read the whole game in English and like replay it. Also, there are some differences in the PS4 version, I heard, so that's gonna be cool to check out as well. And it just came out on Switch, I believe. Yeah. So to play it now is a perfect chance for me to get back to this. Like I said, this challenge is such a good like opportunity and chance to play these kind of games, and it just aligned perfectly with the Switch release. So I'm gonna get back to this, and it's a game I've been streaming every now and then. Not a full series, but it's a very easy game to just pick up and play. It has a very deep and interesting storyline, for sure, I guarantee you. But the gameplay is the core part, and that's just very relaxing and chill to play. So.
Right, I actually want to ask some things about the game, if that's alright.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe I'll take the opportunity now. So, since you mentioned the story, so how do you think that fares? Because the game is made by Falcom, which are the people who made the, Ano Kiseki and, the Trails in the Sky series.
2 games from the same developers.
Right. Let me just ask you, what do you think about the story in comparison to those games? Does it hold up? Because there's really nice storytelling in the other games.
It's really cool. We played Xenogears or Trails of Cold Steel, which came out after Ys 7. So it's kind of interesting to see if you play the games in order, that I did at least. So I've seen that the Ys games are becoming more and more like the Legend of Heroes series, even going back to Ys 6, which came out around the time that we had those, like, I don't know the name of those games, but there were some Legend of Heroes games before the Trail series.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if it's the artwork or the graphics overall, but they kind of like resembles each other. And I think from then, because it's the same developers, but I don't know if it's like the same teams.
Should be.
But the games are getting closer and closer, and by this point in the series, you can see the similarities are huge.
Yeah,
the graphics are
everything
very, very similar. The music is more similar than ever. Ys and Trails always had like fantastic music, but they've been a bit different. If you listen to like the battle theme from Trails in the Sky, that's nothing like Ys.
No, of course.
But the music in Ys 8 and Trails of Cold Steel shares a lot of instruments and
special pulls. Like they are distinguished. I feel, because Ys is always about high action. So you get more of that in the Ys, I suppose.
Yes, the gameplay is totally different. Tokyo Xanadu tried to be like a mix of both, closer than Ys. Ys is never gonna be like Trails, but all the things we love in Trails, I kind of want to say are present in this one as well.
That's really
the side quests are similar. The characters are just as fleshed out. In this one, you have a base. Kind of like the town,
it's a town,
because in every Trails game you have like your main town,
right,
where you get your quests, where you start every chapter. So it's similar in that way too, and the same way the reoccurring characters in this base have new dialogue options, updated just like in the Trails games as well.
That's amazing. Then people who are waiting for the next Kiseki game, or what do you call it, Trails game,
could play this in the meantime, definitely, to see the similarities. And also, I want to say that. I lost my thought. Never mind. Maybe I remember it later on.
Right. But I've been playing it on Switch too. It's about to come in May.
I would buy it on Switch if I like didn't own this version.
Yeah.
But I already have this, and I started it, and I just wanna.
Right. I just want a reason to play on my Switch a bit.
Yeah, sure.
I
can see
and
that.
I don't own the actual PS4 copy, so I just had to choose the latest one, I suppose.
I can see that, definitely.
Right. More Falcom games coming up here, because this is a game I've been dying to play so much. Like I said before, I'm very into mecha, especially in video games for some reason. Like, mecha anime is awesome, but in video games it's like multiplies by 3 or 5. It's like it's so much better. And oh man, should I even say that?
Well, I think that's fine, because this series, if you play Trails in the Sky, you've seen like the airship, and in Aonokiseki they
touch on it.
They touch on it, and the whole series is about this orbal like technology. Even though the first like Sky games are more like fantasy-ish,
right?
The whole series is about this technology, and it keeps evolving through the series. And this is the latest series in the franchise, and you can see on the box here you have mechas.
Yeah.
It takes a whole lot of hours before they get into that part.
Not to reveal anything that I shouldn't be revealing, of course, but all right, good. So since I haven't been playing this game, I'm just judging from the earlier games. Anyway, Sen no Kiseki, which is also known as Trails of Cold Steel here in the West. It's also a game that has gotten amazingly much praise, and I feel like I want to draw a lot of comparisons to Xenogears
Yes.
and this.
Definitely.
So, just because I guess it's just where my interest lands, but in the video game genres, I love the mechas, I love the deep meaningful stories, the great characters. The Trails in the Sky series has always been on my radar, and I've always wanted to play the Cold Steel games because this is the first foray into real 3D for Falcom.
Yeah, it's it's cool. It's the style they use now for all their games, but I think it started there.
Right. And this is also one of the games I started playing, just like Daijak and Saiban. Unfortunately, or maybe I should say fortunately now, because I'm starting anew, I had to delete my save file because I got a better memory card for the Vita, and I had no idea how to transfer my memory from my old memory card to the new. But I feel like I don't mind replaying the first chapter, which is as far as I got in this game. The tutorial.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I don't mind replaying it basically, and there's a lot of extra content which you can't really get on one playthrough. So if you go back to it now, I can see what I missed.
And there's always something you miss in those games, so you might even find something new.
Right.
Regardless.
This game is getting its 4th entry now.
Yes.
The series.
The 3rd is right there.
Right. Senkai has been streaming it as well, and he got his opinion on that game out.
I love it.
But I'm definitely looking forward to this game. The Trails in the Sky series has one of the best battle systems in any RPGs currently.
Hands down.
And what I've been doing, which I guess I sort of hate myself for, but in Zero no Kiseki and Ao no Kiseki, which is the games that came before this, and the games that Senkai is playing right now.
Yes.
I played it on super easy, and I have a reason for it. Don't judge me, but I played it because I wanted to work my Japanese and just read the story. Now I feel really comfortable with my Japanese, so I want to get back to gaming and have fun with my games again.
Right.
So I'm gonna play this on hard, just to get the full extent of the battle system.
That's what I did, and I highly recommend it.
So, because you get too much enjoyment out of the game by just playing it on hard to miss out on it. I feel it's definitely worth it with these games because it has a battle system.
The battle system is so good, and the complexity and the depth is there to not just have the hard mode being like difficult, but also a lot of fun if you get into it.
It gives you the moment to actually use the tools that they present to you, because I think Senkai said that he hasn't been using art in these games.
Not too much.
Yeah,
I use arts like every turn, but that's for buffing and heals.
Yeah, definitely.
But the offensive arts, I don't use too much.
Right. So I feel like this will give me more time to strategize. I had such a great time strategizing in Xenoblade, so I feel like it's gonna be worth it. So this might be a game that will take me a while, but for the summer challenge, cool. I want to challenge myself because it's a summer challenge.
If one game is going to be like a similar, better, or like close experience to what you're going to get from the greatness that is Xenogears, it has to be this one.
And also, it's the only game that I can actually choose my difficult level. Xenogears is set on a certain level, which I hope is fairly difficult.
It's perfectly balanced.
Yeah, and Daijak and Saiban is a visual novel, so
good.
That's only hard if I don't know what they're saying, but
Super.
Right. So that would be my my list. I do have one other game that I'm sort of interested in playing if I do get the time, but I highly doubt it. Should I show it?
You can show it right away, actually.
All right, I'll just do it because this is a bonus game if I get to play it. It's a series that I highly recommend. I wanted to make a video of it a long time ago, but I missed my chance. My window of relevancy sort of disappeared. But the Inazuma 11 Go series in particular. Oh man, it's such a great 3DS series.
I say that all the time. Yeah. I finished both. There is a third game as well, but you did finish the first one.
I played the first one.
And that's the sequel.
And this is the second game. This is one of those games that, I really wanted to play the series in one go.
Yeah.
One go. But for some reason or another, I think I just had to prioritize some other games. So
that happens.
But I played it this year. So this was the first game was the first game I beat this year. This is basically like a very story-heavy
Yes,
football RPG.
There's a lot of story in
and
those games.
It's very hyped up. Like when you play this, you really get
You get pumped.
right. Yeah,
you get pumped.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
It's very it's an adrenaline-filled story-based football slash soccer game.
That I think I don't talk about this enough on the channel, but there's something that games with kids only can do.
Yeah.
And that kind of like hype and like emotion to the story, because the kids, they really care about stuff.
Yeah.
They can't like take it lightly.
Yeah.
They really burn for their hobby here, the football.
Right.
And also like what happens in the story. They get like surprised to a whole other level than like adults would be. So I know a lot of people who don't like kids in games, but that's something I always wanted to make a video on because I think it's like it has its like benefits for sure.
It's very untapped potential,
right?
And you can feel it. One thing I must say that when I played Pokemon Sun and this one afterwards, it really restored my hopes for children's RPGs, quote unquote. I feel like, you know, as an adult, we usually like stray for the more adult-oriented games, but we really miss out on some very good titles, like, you know, very colorful and very attractive and personal, and
for sure,
very great RPGs. Because it's the same with Yokai Watch. I'm entirely invested in that because I want to know why it's such a phenomenon.
I was gonna mention Yokai Watch because that's a bit different. It's Pokemon Go takes away everything that has to do with like Pokemon besides the mechanics, and Yokai Watch is similar because it's very mechanics heavy. You collect on a whole other level than you do in Pokemon, even where you still have a bit of story. This one is the complete opposite. If you watch the Digimon Adventure, the first season, or any other in that series, they are very much about emotion and story and characters. They similar to the Persona series also, like where the characters where the characters are really important. And the same goes here. Like they are a team of football players, and every character is like really fleshed out.
Yeah, true that. And just as any good sports anime, it's very easy to get invested and just like bench watch. So
they hype it up for you.
Yeah,
you don't have to commit as much yourself.
It is very anime structured as well, because you have these episodes and you have the previews for the next episodes. That's
true. Yeah.
So so I remember like I couldn't put this game down. I think I finished the first one in the span of a week.
Yeah.
A very good series.
So awesome. I love this game so much. Yep. And this one is even more episode like. Because the story, like there is an overarching story, but they visit all these kind of different places more so than the first game. So
it's time travel based.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right. And so that one, the second game, but especially the third game, I look forward to immensely. The third game has a very cool overarching theme, which is galaxy based. Yeah.
So there was some Inazuma 11 Go for you guys, and I keep recommending these games so much. And my friend Leo, the funny nerd that I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, also keep mentioning them over and over again. But
Oris will come out soon.
Yes.
The third series in the Inazuma franchise.
That's what we have to recommend here, because Inazuma 11 Go, they were released in Europe and Japan. It's very easy to region-free mod your 3DS nowadays, but back in the day it was not as easy. So we live in Europe, so I could play the games, but over in the US, not as easy. But you can do it. It's not impossible.
Oris will be available for everybody.
Yes.
So in case it just comes out in Europe, at least you'll be able to import it very easily.
True.
And I'm sure that's going to be as highly recommended as these games.
Sure hope so.
Right. All right. So for your final
my last game, and how we're gonna wrap up this video, I suppose. A game I've been playing on stream also every now and then. Also not a full playthrough, but
it's coming
back and forth.
You're working on it.
Also a very easy game to pick up and play, and challenging, not because of a difficulty like level, but it's challenging because it's retro, and it's the first like real retro game we show here. Xenogears is kind of old, but this is even more retro. Shining Force 2 on Sega Mega Drive is a fantastic game. I love so much about it. I'm a huge fan of Camelot, or like they were called Sonic back here.
Really? Oh.
Yes. But they make these games, and they also made Golden Sun. Many of my favorite games, and I can see the resemblance. It's super. It's clear as day if you play this. And like all the charm from Golden Sun is in here as well, and it does some things differently from Fire Emblem, where like you have fewer units, but with more personality.
Yeah.
And the classes you have, like they're not just another knight. Like
No.
like you're this like rat guy. He's on the cover here. He's called Slade. He's like his very like own class, and I have a hard time seeing anybody will join the crew that is the same. So it has more variety than Fire Emblem, but it's not like too similar. The battles are very similar. It's very cinematic. It's very flashy. It looks very anime-esque.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And the same way retro Fire Emblem was with the over-the-top critical hits and stuff on the Super Famicom, they used to like jump 2 meters up in the air when they strike and stuff. Cool. I can see that in this game as well, and I love it. I love it so much.
Would you say they draw inspiration from each other, Fire Emblem and the Shining Force series?
Yeah, no, I think so.
Yeah.
I yet have to play the third game or the 3 games in that series. Shining Force 3 has 3 parts, and those are actually the reason I picked this up or got into this game. A friend of mine really recommended it, so I had to try it. But the real reason is that I want to get to the third game. And this is such a classic. So for me to talk about the third game on the channel without having played this feels a bit weird.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fair. It would be nice to play
this. So yeah, I think that what I have left of this game, it's about half of it. Yesterday or so, I realized that I was not halfway through, that I actually had a bit more. So this is gonna be the closest to like the full game I beat on this challenge. And Dana, I have the advantage that I actually finished before. So that's gonna make it a more smooth ride, because I not just finished Dana before, but I did 100% the game and get the true ending. So I really know what I'm doing in this one.
I wanted to actually ask if you're gonna, because you said about Aonokisuke, when Evolution comes out translated, that you would actually talk to the NPCs and walk around and see what's new.
Right.
Are you doing the same thing with Ys?
Yes, 8? and I did it in my original playthrough as well. Even though it was in Japanese, I took my time to do everything in the game.
How did you do that? Would you have a translation guide?
No, I didn't read anything at all. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything.
Cool. That's very amazing. That's a good job on your end.
It was very cool. Briefly just touching on this game again a bit more, is that it's this beautiful Metroid-inspired game where everything is connected. And it takes it to another level, because even your currency is like horns you get from defeating monsters and like branches you get from cutting down trees is your currency.
That's
all the members in the base camp trade items with each other, so you don't have money in the game.
Very interesting. That's cool.
So the whole like Metroid aspect of every area being connected is connected to your progress in terms of RPG elements as well. It's very, very, very cool. I love the game so much.
Oh, looking forward to playing that as well. So that's also a thing I want to say, because I'm mainly focusing on these games, but I will be playing Ys this summer as well.
Right.
How long is it?
50 hours, I would say.
That's fine. That's good. I can do that. Any special order you want to play these games in? Have you been thinking about that?
Aonokiseki I am playing right now, and it's on my Vita, which I guess is my favorite system.
Yep. So obviously it's on now. It's just a sleep mode.
So yeah, that's gonna be like the game I will focus on. Right. However, the other 2 games, like I said, I have streamed before, and I'm probably gonna continue to do so. So I have one modern game, one retro game that I can stream or play off stream, because I don't have the full thing recorded anyway.
No.
So I do how I want to, but it's nice, and I could remote play Dana as well if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And one game on the go. Sleep mode is fantastic, and to split these up, that maybe I play Ys and then I have Aonokiseki in sleep mode. next to me is always a very nice thing.
Just one
so,
Falcon to the other.
So, so yeah, I like my handheld games because I can put them to sleep and do something else. And in this case, beating my backlog.
Yeah.
Twice as fast.
That's cool.
That's just
you have
good.
You have no time to breathe. You just go to the next game for the next. Okay,
Right.
sleep mode. Okay, good. So yeah, for me personally, I feel like I'm a strong believer in the one game at the time rule. I feel like I make the most progress to that. So for me, it would probably be Daiyuki Saiban. I want to say Xenogears, but I'm gonna do Xenoblade and then Xenogears.
Right.
And then if I do have time, I'll start on the Inazuma 11 Go too.
We'll see about that. That's like a bonus game, like you said.
I don't wanna. This is already a bit too much on a plate. Like you said in the beginning, a lot of people choose the amount of games by their genre, and all of us here, you and me, have chosen very long and heavy games.
Yeah.
3 of them seems to be fine. I'm happy you chose 3 exactly as well.
I think 3 was perfect for me, and 3 games I already started with, and that I am I'm used to. That's also important because some games you need to play for 10 or 15 hours before you really can just get into it quickly.
Makes sense. All right, yeah, but anything else you want to add until we say let's get to it, get gaming?
I don't know. If you watch this video and like it and want to share your backlog challenge, please do, because I made this video because of other people making videos about this. So please do it yourself. I think
reply video.
I think it's a good topic, and
it's interesting to see what
like
kind
I
of.
said, even if you're busy with releases and don't feel like picking up a game you never played before, I took this chance to beat some games in my backlog that I just haven't finished, and I think that's something that's really good to do sometimes.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be fun to see what you guys have to play, because it shows so much about what kind of person and what kind of life you have when you play.
And every time you comment, it's like the taste in games we share is just nice. So I'd love to hear about, to be honest.
Right. Guys, it's been nice being here again for
welcome
one
back.
video.
Super.
Yeah, so anyways, until next time,
Get gaming.